All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to 10-4, powered by WOW. 10-4 is a wonderful opportunity for our members to be able to give presentations to those of you who show up today and those of you who are also watching on social media to talk about what it is that they do. This morning, I'm very excited to introduce Lisa Chalker. Many entrepreneurs and business owners may not understand how life insurance can play a critical role in their business's success during all stages of life. The reality is any business, no matter the size, structure, or length of establishment, may benefit from one or more of the strategies and concepts that are available for businesses. A basic understanding of where life insurance can be leveraged in business planning may help you take care of the current and long-term sustainability of your business, as well as help potentially reduce taxes and be aware of common business planning pitfalls. This morning, I'm proud and happy to introduce Lisa Chalker, a longtime member of WOW and the founder of the Heartland Institute of Financial Education. Good morning, Lisa, and welcome to 10-4.
Good morning, Robin. Robin, thank you. And I'm not the founder. I wish I could take credit, but I am a certified financial educator with Heartland. They are a nonprofit that's been around over 20 years, bringing financial literacy to the masses and also supporting many colleges that are in the forefront of financial literacy. When we bring our financial IQ up, let me tell you, it makes a world of difference. And really quickly, I'm a multipreneur. I actually have a marketing business as well since 2003. Started my financial agency in 2019, really right before the pandemic, which was a blessing. And now I am not only a licensed insurance professional, but also a registered representative, an investment advisor representative, and a certified financial educator. And I'm growing my team across the nation, bringing financial literacy to individuals, families, and businesses. And the reason that I'm so passionate about businesses is because as a small business owner, for the first 15 years before I found this company and my financial agency, I was financially illiterate in my business. I didn't know how to take advantage of minimizing my taxes. I didn't know about options for my own retirement. My mindset was I had to work for a corporation and have a 401k. I didn't know about all the other options out there. And when I got to it, I was already 15 years into the business. And it's hard to play catch up. So my focus, especially for 2024, in addition to helping individuals and family with peace of mind, is to go to small business owners who are open and wanting to learn how they can minimize taxes and work better, not harder, but smarter. And that's the whole purpose of this quick overview of what possible options are out there. This is not a cookie cutter solution. I am not going to be saying, hey, this is the product to do in this. It's just to give you a little idea. And if anybody wants to talk offline further, we can have a conversation. So do you want me to go right into it, Robin? That's it? Okay, cool. All right, let me share my screen again. And let me hit present. And let's go. Okay. So what I want to do is just overview. This is a very basic, quick overview of options that will possibly be able to help you minimize your taxes, ease liquidation of your business after death, which I want to just stay there for a hot second. When you have a small company and something happens to you and you're the one that's running the whole thing, what happens to your family if, God forbid, you pass away? How do we have a quick liquidation of the business or quick liquid assets for the family? And that's what we're going to be talking about as well. But I never thought of that before in my whole life. I didn't even think that far ahead. And that was something that I want to impress upon small business owners, that you really need to think about that. And implementing a tax-free retirement strategy, hopefully, because I don't know about you, but I don't like giving more money to the government. Quick thing, a little bit more about me is I run my agency in now I added 22 states. I added another 2 states since I made this. My team and I focus on helping individuals, families, and businesses with financial solutions and education. We want our clients to know how their money works and how to make it work for them. Our clients are taught how to pay less in taxes, get out of debt, grow their money, and implement a wealth protection plan, and so much more. So there's a bunch of business types. I'm just concentrating on a few for this presentation. Sole proprietorships, like really quickly, you're just one and the same legal entity paying taxes the whole way through as a solopreneur, right? Then there's a partnership where you have 2 more people carrying on as co-owners of that business for a profit. And they're sharing in the profits and they're sharing in the taxes, right? There's two types, general and limited. Not going to get into the nitty gritty here. Corporations, you're created under a state law and you can't legally exist without the authorization of the state. And again, there are two types. There's a C Corp and an S Corp. Not my thing to go through it today. Just want to bring awareness. And then you have limited liability, which is a hybrid entity that has some of the corporation with the pass-through tax advantages of a partnership. This actually is relatively new, and it's the fastest growing form of business that we have. So here's my thing that I teach all my clients, whether they're businesses or individuals. Taxes are the biggest thief of wealth. You need to work with an accountant and a financial professional just to understand how you're taxed so that you could research a strategy to get as tax advantage as possible. Again, we don't like to pay more taxes than we have to, and we don't like our clients to. Now, as far as taxes, really, this is quick because I'm not an accountant and I don't profess to be. I partner with accountants, but solopreneur isn't a separate tax entity, so it neither has to pay tax or report tax. It's not required to file a tax return. Instead, all of it's on the owner and their personal tax return. Partnerships, again, similar to a solo proprietorship, they don't pay income tax, but dissimilar is that a partnership is a separate tax entity and they are required to file a tax return annually. Corporations, it's determined, its taxable income is subtracting the allowable deductions from the gross income. Again, not going to get in the nitty gritty, but even though some S Corps pass the tax liabilities to the shareholders, it has to file an annual tax return. And finally, limited liability. For federal tax purpose, a multi-member LLC is taxed as a partnership and a single is taxed as a sole proprietorship, tongue-tied today, unless otherwise elected. So these are just a little bit about the taxes. Now, I'm only going to go over 3 possible options. There are a few more, but these are the most common and the ones that my team and I have done before. Now, key person life insurance, not sure if anybody has heard about it. If you have, it probably might be a refresher. If you haven't, this is a good thing to listen to if you have employees. The sudden departure of a key employee could absolutely be catastrophic to a company, not because the owner did anything wrong, but because they didn't do enough. So you could have loss of sales due to lack of manpower. You could have disruption of production or operations. There's a significant cost to searching for and retraining a replacement, and loss of competitive position or goodwill in the marketplace. If you're a restaurant and you lose your head chef, well, you've got to have a lot of these in place, and that could cost you a lot of money to go look for another chef, train them, and possibly lose out to your competition. Now, a life insurance policy is owned and paid for by the business in this situation, and it's on the key employee's life to help safeguard the client's business. Now, it has nothing to do with the key person. The key person doesn't benefit in this case. The business benefits. You need to get permission from the key employee to have the life insurance on their life, but it doesn't do anything for that employee. It is specifically to give liquid funds to help with the impact of possibly losing this key employee. What are the benefits? Cash reserves are available so that you can now look for, hire, and train a replacement employee. Liquidity to cover the cost of lost revenue before a replacement is hired and able to work at the same level of productivity. Flexibility to change the policy to a form of non-qualified deferred compensation. That just means that the money's already been taxed if the need changes over time. And it has tax-deferred growth of a policy's cash value and giving you access to that cash value accumulation in the event a financial need occurs and you need to borrow money instead of going to a bank. Okay, we'll have questions and answers after. This way I make sure I get through everything. The second thing is that we do is an executive bonus plan. This is life insurance that could be leveraged by businesses to help attract, retain, or reward certain critical employees. So I'm actually working with a sonography company. They do ultrasounds upstate New York. They are too small. It's a partnership. They're too small to have a 401k plan. They don't want to pay the admin fees. There's a cost for a company to run a 401k. So right now, it's on certain key employees, we're doing an executive bonus plan. We did this for a solopreneur who has this. The business pays a bonus to certain employees, usually the C-suite, and it's used to purchase life insurance to help supplement the employee's qualified plan, the 401k, and group term offerings. Double bonuses can also cover the income tax liability to the employee because the employee owns the policy here, unlike the key person where the business owns it. So they're able, this is their life insurance plan. They're going to designate the beneficiaries. The difference is that the business is paying this as a bonus. They're giving the employee extra money to be able to pay the premiums. And because the premiums would be an income tax liability to the employee, the businesses sometimes give extra bonuses to cover that tax liability. What are the benefits? Bonuses are used to pay premiums on a deductible for the business, and they're not, the IRS approval is not required. So this is something that's good about the, opposed to the 401k plan, and it's not a qualified plan, so there's no admin costs. And the last thing that we're going to go over is the buy-sell agreement. Each business owner has a policy life on each other. I did this for a partnership. They're good for LLCs. So it's an agreement between the business owners, not themselves. Upon the death of one of the business owners, the life insurance policy will pay out so that the other partner doesn't have to go into business with the family or anything, and they can buy the family out. I always suggest that this goes into a trust where the business does ultimately own the policies, and the trust tells how it's going to pay out should one of the owners pass away prematurely. This is my information. Again, this was a really quick overview of some of the options. Some businesses leverage me instead of an advisor for a 401k plan because there's no cost to use my services to attract and retain employees. All right. I was given a warning. And
no,
I'm done.
You're doing great. So I'm gonna and thank you so much. There's a lot of information here. So I'm gonna open the floor up to people for your questions, so that Lisa can answer some of your questions. If you want to raise your hand, if you want to jump in, just make sure because you are all on mute. So anybody has some questions for Lisa?
So Lisa, I have a question. So you were an entrepreneur, and you said that you were not educated on this stuff, and all of a sudden, you waited all this time. That's really interesting. You said that. It's so. What other things did you realize that you didn't know? Like, because it's like almost like you learned so much, right, in this short period of time that you didn't know for a long time. So, what other things?
I think that the biggest things that I learned is that time matters. And a lot of people wait until they're in their older years to think about even getting life insurance. And the problem is that it's done based on age and health, and you can't guarantee anything. And so the sooner you get it, the better. I also learned that a little bit of money over a long enough period of time at a decent rate of return equals wealth. So when you cut back on that time, you now have to play catch up, and that could be very hard, especially when you don't have extra money. And I did learn that there were different options other than just death insurance. Life insurance that we utilize very often have living benefits. And a lot of people don't know that there are options out there because the industry has been pushing one or two options and telling people that's all there is when there are better options out there. And I always found out, I said, hey, where does the bank put their money? If they don't put their money in their own products, why don't we find out where they're putting it? And so these were big revelations among many others, but that's the biggest. So, and we think we're fine, right? All of us think we're fine, we're good. But when you have a chance of losing money and paying high taxes, I don't consider that fine. So I say, hey, always open to a conversation to see if there's anything better out there. If there was, wouldn't you want to know about it before it's too late to do anything?
Right.
So Lisa, do you also work with personal, or you with personal life insurance or personal insurance, or do you only work with professional?
No, we work with everything: individuals, families, businesses. I work with them all, my team, and it doesn't have to be in New York. I work in any of the 50 states. So it's a nice thing.
So have there been any surprises for you in the last, I'm going to say 2 or 3 years? Obviously, I'm finding that we seem to be in this conversation again about post-COVID. Is there anything that has changed in the last, I'm going to say 3 or 4 years that you've seen major changes, or has everything kind of stayed in the insurance business on a status quo?
Well, I'd say that I think that the biggest thing is people are kind of starting to learn with our focus on education and no family left behind, is that, people are actually trusting banks over insurance companies. A lot of people I sit with have a very uneducated, view of insurance companies, and they go, well, I don't want to put money into something that I don't know I'm going to get. And I always say, well, you insure your car, right? How much more important is your life and your family's well-being? Because if you pass away prematurely, your family could go into a financial crisis. This is the highest form of love. Now, the last things, when other businesses failed, our company grew 40% during COVID because everybody needs to have financial peace of mind. And so that's the biggest thing. And I think that the more education out there, the better it's happening. But I sit with a lot of people and they say, I'm fine. My portfolio is doing great. Yeah, everybody's been doing great because the market's been artificially inflated these past years. We are heading, if you're listening and you're looking at economic reviews, we're heading for a recorrection. And people's retirement funds are going to be hit hard, like 2008, could be worse. And our clients at least know that when we help them move their old retirement funds into a product where they don't have loss of money, but they're still able to make money, they're grateful. They're the ones that are going to be safe. The ones that keep thinking they're fine because their guy is okay and he keeps manipulating their portfolio, they're going to have a rude awakening because the last few years have been artificial. And, hey, if anybody remembers that and wants to send them our way, I will help them get their money protected and still grow it. And that's all part of life insurance. It's just a different part. So.
And Lisa, you also have a partnership as well, right? With, if you want to work together, right? Collaborative or something like that?
Oh, yeah. So right now, a lot of people are having trouble making ends meet. They're living paycheck to paycheck. Some of them are retired and finding out they didn't plan enough and they needed more income. So our company offers a unique opportunity that you don't need any background. We'll train you, help you get licensed. It's literally 2 weeks. It's a quick thing. Get licensed in the industry and help you make an additional stream of income part-time from your home, flexible hours. And hey, you can go in an RV and still do this. But it's a great opportunity for the right people. I've been bringing on a lot of realtors, mortgage brokers now because the market's just not good for them. And they need a hedge against the cyclical nature. I've got a whole team of first responders. I've got teachers, social workers, lawyers. I have lawyers, accountants on my team, and teachers. So if you know anybody that would be open to learning something new and maybe a little bit of a career transition, and clearly I keep my marketing business. It's not like you have to give up whatever you have, which is the beautiful thing. They allow you to do this part-time. So thank you, Juan, for giving me that opportunity to ask. And again, doesn't matter what state, you work with any state. So.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much.